Okay. All right.
O'Kane.
Here.
Shaner.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Waters. Moore.
Here. Can we stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jeannie, meet me at the podium there. We got a commendation that reads, whereas you're to be commended for taking the time, the initiative, and the effort to create a beautiful yard that contributes greatly to your neighborhood and to the city of Sioux City. And whereas you should be proud of the work you've done and the beauty that you have created. And whereas we thank you for allowing our citizens to enjoy your beautiful yard and for teaching by example the merits of beautification in the community. Now, therefore, I, Robert E. Scott, Mayor of the City of Sioux City, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby commend Jeannie Poulos of 1614 West 5th Street for exhibiting pride of ownership and being a recipient of the City of Sioux City's Yard of the Month Award. I'd like to present this to you and thank you. Good to see you. Say a few words if you want.
There's nothing left for me to do, retire, except fix up my yard. Thank you. And tomorrow's my birthday, so this is a great.
Oh,
great
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, if it wasn't 80, it'd be okay.
Jim Morton for the library. Do you know who Jeannie's dad was?
No.
Your buddy, Joe Cody. I've just... I forgot to mention that earlier.
Oh, yeah, that goes back a ways, Bob.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those that don't know, I don't know who wouldn't know about you, but why you want to serve on the library board?
Well, I need something to do, first of all. Secondly, I'm a patron of the library and have been for a long time. And Bob and I go back far enough in public service. Our colleague Joanne Gruskin, Bob, remember, was very much involved in establishing the library where it is today. And so have some of that history, too. Goes back a little ways. But since I retired about 4 or 5 years ago, I've really been a crazy, voracious reader. I mean, I can do a book a week. My wife will do 4. And if you look at our records, our borrowing records, we're down there. Not so much physically anymore. We do everything electronically. It's just so much easier to really step in a building. But I've always been a proponent of the library. It's just a wonderful asset to the city. And I just got to meet Helen for the first time. I'd never met her, and so it's good to meet her today. So going in, if indeed I'm successful at this, I really need some Library 101, Helen. I don't know much about, the workings of a library, the operations. When I told some friends I was going to try to be appointed to this board, they're all talking about like e-books as opposed to physical books, and there's still a big market out there for people who like to hold books. I found out they like the physical book instead of the e-books. But so I'm anxious to learn as I go along here. Nicole, I want to ask you a question just before we start too, and I just found this out. From the time I sent my application in to today, I found out my wife is on the library board of trustees, the foundation. The foundation side. Is there any issues in terms of a conflict on that?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's fine, because if there were, I'd ask her to resign immediately.
How would that work out?
That would not go well.
Would you listen?
That would not go well. So I'm really anxious to, sir, take a look at this, and I get involved a little bit with city government and do what I can. And I told Helen, too, I said, are there any other applicants? Not to her knowledge. I said, don't get encouraged by that. I ran for class president of junior in high school and got beat by a write-in. And I'll never get over that. I was the only candidate on the ballot, and a write-in came in and beat me for class president.
I remember the night you were running way ahead, but when the West Side came in, you were second place. But I'm going to let that go.
Bob. 81 votes, you got me. 1989. Still a little touchy about that too. I thought I had him, but no, I'd be anxious to serve. I love the library. I've got the time to do it. I said the only problem I'd have to do a couple meetings by Zoom. because we're not here, but I'd be anxious to do that. And, just listen to the constituents out there. The library is a tremendous asset to Sioux City, and I'd hope I'd be able to bring some expertise to it. I've had a lifetime in fundraising, so I know a little bit about that. President of the Gateway Foundation. I was telling Helen, I said, I've been on both sides of the giving, being the giver and the givee kind of, and I still remember when Bob was just talking about Ted Waite before we started here today, and Gateway's involvement in the beginning of the trail, actually, along the riverfront. I was president of the foundation at the time, and we were kind of the first ones in on that project. And I remember when we started the foundation, Ted named me the first president, and I said, what do I have to work with in terms of budget? And his answer was, whatever you need. No, there are not many CEOs who would have given you that response, but that's the way Ted was in Gateway, whatever you need, which is incredible. And sometimes I needed $7 million, $8 million a year we gave away. They're not there anymore, but there's people that are interested in being supporters in many different ways, and so I'd hope I could do some of that for the library too. So, be anxious to serve. I'd be honored if the council would give me consideration on that, and go from there. How's that?
Any questions?
Maybe a comment or two, Jim. I just want to say I'm really pleased that you and Bev have done what you have in the past for this community, and especially you being on the city council. There's so many projects that you were involved in that you got started with the mayor's involvement as well, but that you were involved with that we're very proud of today. And a lot of people don't realize how much you've done for this community.
Until you sit on that side, you don't know what it's all about. And I learned
a lot of good stuff.
We had a great council. We had a great council when Bob and I were talking. We've lost a lot of those people too. As time marches on. But
well, you did what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do, and I think the others.
Yeah.
We're trying to move the city forward, and sometimes it's difficult.
We've had a string of good people serving, and we're indebted to you for that too. So thank you all very much, and appreciate your consideration.
I do have one question for you. So this has become kind of a divisive issue, but there's been a resurgence of calls for book banning throughout our country recently. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on our current process that we use to review books, and if you feel like that's sufficient.
I think it's crazy. How about that? Books are there for public consumption. Let people make up their own minds as to what's appropriate for them to read and not. So, no, if you won't get me on that argument. Believe me, I'm not interested in that at all. We need a well-stocked library with all sorts of different opinions. So, yeah, it's crazy we even have to talk about politics and library. I mean, the two don't go together.
Right.
So.
Anything else?
Thanks,
all right,
Jim.
thanks, Jim.
Thank you all very much. Thanks.
I'm sure you'll get at least 4 votes. We'll
Try. We'll campaign for you.
I know.
There will be no write-ins. Oh, yeah, no write-in.
All right, we'll go to the consent agenda, which is items 3 through 11 today. Consider them to pass unanimously unless a roll call vote's asked for by the council member. If you want to speak on an item, please come up as I read that item and state your name and address for the record so we can follow up with you. If you want to come up on an item not under the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
3 is a reading of the City Council minutes of October 3rd and 5th, 2022. 4 is a resolution temporarily closing 4th Street on October 30th for the Safe Place Trunk or Treat event. 5 is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the West 8th Street reconstruction project. 6 is a resolution directing the city manager to purchase liability insurance from Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services. 7 are actions relating to grants. A is a resolution authorizing the police department to accept a JAG program funds. B is a resolution authorizing the police department to apply for the Project Safe Neighborhood grant. Items 8A and B are resolutions assessing $500 penalties against Mardo Brewing and Pilot Travel Center for violation of the beer, wine, and liquor laws. 9 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution awarding a service provider agreement to Midwest Alarm to provide and install security cameras at the Arts Center. B is a resolution approving change order number 9 to the contract with RP Constructors for the Airport Water Main Replacement Project. C is a resolution approving a subordination agreement with Amera LSL Sioux City and Heritage Bank. D is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with DGR Engineering for the Whispering Creek Drive and Castlegate Drive intersection repaving project. I'd just like to say that this is like a $300,000 job. We just disrupted that neighborhood for a whole year. I'd hope in the future we figure out a way that we only disrupt a neighborhood one time, even if it means you've got to pre-move some money or something. But this makes no sense to me that we're going to shut that neighborhood down again and have people drive all the way around. The amount of wasted gas because of this is just not very smart on the part of the city. E is a resolution approving a contract to the Environmental Services for Asbestos Abatement at 2501 Ogden Avenue. F is a resolution approving amendment number 1 to the Residential Property Management Agreement with NAI United for Airport Property Management Services. G is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with Impact 7G for lead inspections and risk assessments. H is a resolution approving a 3-year subscription agreement with Gatekeeper Systems for web-based software at the airport. 10 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution authorizing the payment to Musco Sports Lighting for the mini pitch system modular sports solution at Riverside Park. B is a resolution approving fund transfers for September. C is a motion approving total payments issued for September 2022. 11 are applications for beer and liquor license. See the list come forward if you have any questions. Anyone to be heard on any of those items?
I would like to go back to 9D real quick on the Castles Gate intersection. Can you just give us just short why we're doing it separately, what the need was, just so we know?
Gordon Fair, City Engineer.
Thank you, Gordon.
You wanted just a brief description of what's going on there?
Yeah, because we did just have that closed, so I'm sure other people want to know why didn't we just do it all at the same time?
Mainly due to funding, because the sewer line has to be replaced there, and the funding estimate was increasing so much I didn't think I was going to have budget for it. So I wanted to hurry up and get that other section of the street done. Wouldn't really cause any time of delay on that at all, because it's still going to be like another 2 phases to close that intersection down, regardless of what went on already.
Why? You could have done it all in one season if you'd have bid it together.
Done it one season, yes, but not done it in one phase, the one phase like we did.
No, I understand that, but now you're going to have a whole new closing of that street. You got people used to it, and I just don't understand the logic of that. I don't understand the logic of the sewer going up in price. They're not going down in price. So it doesn't, I guess as I told you in an email, I think it's important that if you're going to have one of these projects, you let us know whether we would elect. I mean, you're only talking $332,000. I talk like that's not a lot of money, but in comparison to the million, whatever it was the first time, it's a small portion to have just done it and gotten it done. You're gonna pay for setting up roadblocks and you're gonna pay for all that stuff again that you already is a lot cheaper if you do it at one time than to remobilize.
How long will it be closed, do you estimate?
At this time, no, I don't have that.
Thank you.
Yep.
When that bids, I'd like to know what the mobilization number is, because that's what basically a lot of that is coming back, and a lot of it's the barricades and the traffic diversion and all that you're going to do. A lot of that you'll see that we could have avoided if we wouldn't have done it. Anyone else be heard on anything? Passes 4-0. Mr. Waters is absent. Recommendations in planning and zoning for 12 is a hearing and ordinance vacating the north-south alley in the block bounded by West 4th Street, Blair Street, West 5th Street, and Colon Street. The petitioner is Alex Byer. P&Z recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Go ahead.
Chris Madison, Senior Planner. The Planning and Zoning Commission did hear this item and voted unanimously to approve the vacation. This is a item following up a Board of Adjustment item for a pigeon coop on the site. That site or the shed is located in the alley, so their recommendation was to approve the conditional use permit subject to the alley being vacated. So this is the second step in that process.
Anyone to be heard? Hearing's now closed. Passes 4-0. Anybody opposed to waiving statutory rule?
No.
I'll move that.
Second?
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
I'll move second and third.
Second?
Passes 4-0. 13 is a resolution approving the final plat of a monument, first edition. I'll move that, or I'll move to delete that, I'm sorry.
Second?
Scott.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
14 is a hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the Dale Street Park Community Garden Parking Lot Improvement Project. I'll move that.
Second?
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 4-0. 15 is a hearing and resolution approving a proposal to sell property near 1814 Isabella Street. Petitioner is Jose Hernandez. I'll move that.
Second?
Public hearing's now open. Anyone want to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 4-0. 16 is a hearing resolution approving a proposal to sell property near 1810 Isabella Street. The petitioners Lonnie and Kathy Jensen. I'll move that.
Second?
Hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 4-0. 17 is a hearing and resolution approving a proposal to sell property near 315 Collins Street. Petitioner is Alexandra Krula. I'll move that.
Second?
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 4-0. 18 is a hearing and resolution approving a proposal to grant a temporary construction easement and permanent utility easements 100 Riverside Boulevard. The petitioner is the City of North Sioux City, South Dakota. I'll move that.
Second?
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 4-0. 19 is an ordinance amending Chapter 7.01 definitions and penalties of the municipal code to modify the definition of domestic animals to include all domestic animals. In light of Stephen's memo that came out this week, I would move to delete this item.
Second.
Yeah, just Stephen Mastalka, City Legal. After having discussions with both the Siouxland Humane Society, Animal Control, and receiving a significant amount of citizen input as well, it sounds like although the former were sort of in favor of an upper limit on animals, public input has been very negative on this and just more directed at us going against the bad actors and not trying to punish all animal owners in general or anything like that. So with that, legal would recommend the item.
You need to change anything on the, in our homework, first consideration was approved October 4th, and it was October 3rd. Do you need to change anything on that going forward?
We need to change it after the fact, Nicole.
It's just on the agenda and it's in the write-up.
Sure, it's just on the heading for the RCA. It is not actually contained, well, the ordinance won't be effective anyway. So we'll just note it in the record that it was in.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The most recent email that we received, it was from the president of USARK, and there was an interesting tidbit in there. It said, "We fully agree that anyone keeping animals in a manner which threatens public safety, agriculture, or the environment should be punished. We support common sense laws and regulations which penalize irresponsible individuals." They said that they have examples of ordinances that we could draft, and you had mentioned getting everybody together to discuss what those could look like. I would be interested in involving them in that conversation if possible. I do think we should look at it. I think maybe that we need to open the doors to some other entities and have a full conversation before we consider it, though.
Absolutely, and I'll just remind council too that we do have tools in terms of if keeping of pets is a danger to public health. Obviously, we have our inspections ordinances, red tag ordinances, things of that nature. If we have a situation as occurred previously where there's a large number of snakes at a residential complex that are being bred for profit, zoning laws can come into play there too, as again happened previously. So they're already, in a way, it's kind of enforce the laws on the books kind of thing, is what citizens have been asking for.
So we have the authority in other ways.
In general, yes.
Anyone to be heard?
Parker Moose, 4624 Harrison Street. I was going to read from that letter, but it sounds like a lot of you guys have already had a chance to review that email from Phil. There were a couple of things in there that I wanted to bring up in particular.
You know what our motion is?
To redefine,
No.
right now it's the table, isn't it?
Right now, it's to delete
Just to
the,
delete it?
Right.
I didn't know if that was, we still were commenting on anything aside from that or that.
well, you can, but we're deleting it, so it's not going to have any bearing, but,
Okay, that's fine. I can walk away from it then.
okay.
All right,
Sounds
thank you.
good.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye. Anyone else be heard in the public for any citizen concerns? Matthew.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. This Thursday is the last art walk of the year. Expecting all of you to show up.
Why don't you look on your calendar and see what the week of this week is and when all the extensions for tax returns are due.
Whoops.
Carve out a
So unless you're paying a lot of money for me to make the walk, I probably won't
brisk
be there.
October walk. It'll be good.
Evening?
It starts at 4, and there's the Art Center, the Sioux City Art Center, the beautiful Sioux City Art Center is involved. But then there's also the 2 galleries that are downtown as well that everybody walks to, and there's hors d'oeuvres, and there's wine, of course. So it should be a good time. And I think there's going to be some candy to hand out, too, if any young ones that want to dress up.
Oh, we're not.
Thanks, Matthew.
Julie.
I don't have anything today. Just enjoy this beautiful fall weather. I do want to say one thing. I have to take that back that I don't have anything. Farmers are out and about. They're driving large equipment on the gravel roads, on the highways, on the secondary roads. I just ask that everybody be safe, stay behind them till it's clear and safe to pass. They're getting over as much as they can. So let's just have a really safe harvest.
Okay. Mr. Moore.
Nothing further, Mayor.
2 things. Is anybody riding Thursday in the parade?
Yes. No, it's Friday.
It's Friday. Okay.
Friday afternoon.
Are you riding it?
Yes.
I better.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
You want me to meet you?
Just you 2? Just you and I?
Whose parade is it? I don't know.
The Christian school.
Oh, maybe.
3, I have it on my calendar to be there by 3.
Yeah, I'll be like out at the east end of Morningside somewhere, or
Oh,
meet at,
yeah, I'll
meet
ride
at the
in it.
Christian school at like 2:30, either way.
I'll ride.
Meet there?
Yeah, we can meet there and I'll bring you back.
Okay,
Oh, okay. Yep.
Okay, be there about 2:30.
30.
Okay, so I'll bring a car that
Are you able
can
to make
all of us. Okay, you getting the candy?
We'll bring the candy.
Bring the candy.
Bob, will you get us some candy?
Have Gabby get it?
4 boxes?
Last, no. No,
You
not-
can't order a half a box, or they
Last
probably would.
We had an announcement in our community that is going to have a terrible impact. To lose 580 really good employees in this area is just really tough to swallow. And I would like to think that we have 3 governors whose communities are going to be terribly adversely affected by this, that they would get together and go see the people at Tyson, write letters, do whatever, but take the lead on this, because they're not going to listen to local communities, and it's terribly important that we don't lose those jobs. So I would hope that that would happen.
Great comment.
I've encouraged the Chamber of Commerce to try to make that happen, and so far they've not been as successful as we'd hoped they had been.
And 550 jobs is not 550 people. It's several thousand people that are attached to those 550 or 80 jobs, with children, spouses.
Yep.
You know, it could be even reach out to a grandparent or someone who may be cohabitating, you know. So it's very broad.
Yep. With that, I move we adjourn.
Second.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Moore.
Aye. Wow.